Good morning everybody and welcome back into another episode of the LEGO Legend of Zelda Custom Set Showcase, where today we're back with Wave 4 taking a look at another brand new custom set based off the Zelda franchise, and actually we're going all the way back to 86 with this one with Z0065 with 1038 pieces. This is the buildable retro Link, or the 8-bit motorized playset, or whatever you want to call it, and features a giant model of 8-bit pixel Link, perfect for display, but as you'll notice on this box it talks about motorized play, because I could not just do a voxel Link, despite that making a great set. We have to add something funny to him, and we're taking heavy inspiration from the Boost Droid Commander and of course every other Boost and Mindstorm set today, as we take a look at this ages 10 and up set with 1038 pieces, retailing for 179, yeah that's right, 179.99 Great British pounds, very pricey one, with 0 figures and 1 brick built character, but of course containing a battery box, motor hub, light sensor, and a motor or two as well. But to give you an idea of what this thing is capable of, let's quickly read our description before we open our box and I tell you all about this. This is a very different model. Bring Link to life like never before with the latest LEGO Legend of Zelda set. Featuring 3 motors, a color sensor, and a remote control, you can build the original 8-bit version of Link from 1986 and the original Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda. Using the powered up app or remote control, make your Link roll around on wheels to explore your house like it's Hyrule. Spin, move and stab at included targets or program specific sequences for Link to follow. The included color sensor even lets you trigger sound bites or actions when Link sees objects in your house or enemies in the gift with purchase Z0068, the 8-bit items. When play is done, place Link on a shelf to remind you of classic blockier days gone by. And if you didn't pick up on it there, we're actually taking a look at a second set today, that being Z068, the 8-bit items. With 346 pieces, this is the gift with purchase of Wave 4. If some of you are going, what do you want about gift with purchase of Wave 4? Yes, this are only 2 sets in a 13 set wave that were all designed to be cohesive with each other, and this is Z068. So this promo of the wave comes with 346 pieces for ages 8 and up and contains 0 minifigures and kind of 2 brick built characters if you count those original NES enemies. And we'll be taking a look at this one and its integration with Z0065 later on in this video. But it is worth pointing out that this set is not just a promo for 8-bit Link, but with any of the Wave 8 sets if you bought them on release and you got above a certain price threshold, meaning that anyone that bought the Temple of Time direct-to-consumer set that I released earlier this year, they would also qualify for this promo, which is cool because this is a little nostalgic one, but it does have integration with our wonderful color sensor. But back to Z065, let's take a look at what this guy can do. So in the model, as you mentioned, you get your voxel Link, who of course looks pretty much perfect on display, ignore that color sensor for now, and this is just basically a 1-for-1 recreation from the voxel version, which people have done before. It's nothing new and special, but nobody has motorized him. Then you also get these giant 4 color blocks, which kind of look like NES cartridges, but not really, and then we've got this simple target setup, which is kind of similar to like a Gerudo target, but really it's just something for you to sort of play around and mess around with him in. So yeah, let me walk you through the electronic components now. So underneath we have the main boost hub. This thing acts as your central control, it's where your batteries are stored, and it happens to have a couple of different ways you can attach other components and motors. So on its actual thing itself, we have 2 wheels that are sort of underneath Link here, as well as a couple of boat tiles to hold him down. Now ignore the fact this doesn't look structurally stable, Studio's lighting is just not allowing me to do it, and also because of all the wires and components, these things don't work properly in a digital space, but the idea is this is reinforced and sat in the base here, and the wheels stick out the bottom, allowing him to sort of be raised up at the front, so the wheels would be towards the front of his body, and then his back sort of drags along the floor, but only slightly because obviously 2 wheels wouldn't really balance this guy, using a boat stud, so he'll smoothly roll around and he'll be slightly angled backwards, which means his sword will always point slightly upwards. As for other components, we've got the color sensor, which is attached to this. The hub itself can play sound bites and make noises, and there, as I mentioned, there's a motor included in Link's arm as well, which makes the sword do a stabbing function. Beyond this, we're also including a remote control, although these days they largely encourage you to use the powered hub, the powered up app to do all the controls, and of course you can code from that thing, but we're including a remote control as if he is a trainer as well. Now, I mentioned the arm, let's deal with that one first. So as an individual motion, if the arm is triggered, and I'll talk about all the ways you can trigger it later on, the arm sort of is on a sort of 90-degree rotation, which is being transferred through Technic beams to be a stabbing outwards motion. So when the motor is activated, it's like a servo, so it goes forward a certain amount, causing the sword to stab forward. This of course can be paired with our wonderful little side build here, little ladder at the back, and if we line up Link, or Link rolls up to it and then he stabs, he's going to knock the target over and it's going to be like he's scoring points. Now there is no way for him to detect that it's done, but you can decide when Link stabs. Of course, there is button control. So in the app interface for your Link controls, not only do you have sort of a way to spin him or a way to make him roll forward or backwards, but you have a button, and when you press that button, the sword would go forward. Or we can use our color sensor. Starting with obviously one of these 4 color blocks, we have blue, green, red, and yellow. And if you wave one of those in front of the color sensor, Link will detect it. And if you've coded in that when he sees yellow, he stabs, then he will stab. Now you've got 4 colors, which gives you 4 main options, but that being said, you could probably also recognize a purple and other things that aren't included, giving you a variety. And some of the other things you can do with a Link is obviously sound bites. So there's sort of a da-na-na-na, or a yeah, ha, yeah, or the main theme, all of which can either be coded up or set as like a hard function, like if you're just using your base Link, or using the coding system that's built into the Powered Up app, you can pick which one of these is responsible for each setting, along with actions, such as maybe when he sees blue, he does a spin and spins on the spot like a spin attack, and maybe plays a sound effect, or not, he can just spin. Or maybe you flash green, and that's code for him to move 40 paces forward, then turn, then 40 paces left, or something like that, and you can code his movement into that. Or as we mentioned, perhaps you flash red, and then that's a sign for the sword to go forward. Because of the 8-bit characters being those primary colors and being based off the NES, you are able to set them up around your room. Now, just like these big blocks, you could also flash them in front, and maybe when you flash the bomb in front of Link, he rolls away so that he like scoots backwards. Or perhaps when you see the tech tie, it detects red and then does a stabbing motion. For example, this could work, say you're using a remote control to sort of drive him around at will, and then automatically when he senses a color red, he does a stab on his own. Or perhaps it's the other way around, where instead of you roaming around your room looking for targets and Link automatically smashes it, you flash the tech tie in front of it, and then that sends him off on a motion, right? You've got all these different options to play around with as far as the coding goes in all these different ways. Besides all that integration, of course, we also just have his looks. This model looks particularly nice on a shelf. At least from the front, you have got the really ugly like powered up back around the back, which is, it's fine, it does whatever. And of course you can detach the sword too, but again, that's not going to look particularly amazing. The only real blemish on him is the color sensor in the middle, which just sort of hints at his true purpose, but he is recreated here. Mostly accurate. There were a couple of changes made for structural stability, and I believe all these colors exist. I won't be doing a build for him though anytime soon. I do not trust that the powered up functions would work, and it would be mega expensive. Now, as for the colors I've chosen, we've gotten some new options available to us in the last couple of years. That specifically being nougat. We did not have nougat, and I mean the flesh nougat, not medium nougat, when other people have attempted these with, say, tan or other flesh colors as well, meaning we can get closer to that original 8-bit sprite. I also chose to use, I believe that's dark orange for the hair, and then a normal green for the body as well, recreating those 3 colors as best as I could. And again, those newer LEGO colors and the fact that the flesh tones are now here makes this model different from other ones that have come before it. Although this one is definitely inferior. I think a lot of people would just prefer a display piece and not have to pay nearly double the price for motorized integration. But I'm not here to do what's been done before. I'm here to explore how these things could work as play concepts, and I don't think you would want to do a voxel Link completely on his own. Although, watch me say this, and then next year, that is the next Zelda set. That would be something. But okay, let's jump back to Z068 now and talk about those gift with purchase creatures in a bit more detail. So while the Octorok and the Tech Type might be the star of the show, there are indeed 6 builds in the 8-bit items. We have the watch or clock, we have a rupee, we have a key, we have a Tech Type, an Octorok, and a bomb. Bringing these 6 different ones to life. They're all built on 3-plate thickness, so that's 2 plates and then a tile layer on the top, trying to be as economical as possible, and those bottom 2 layers are black. They of course can stand up, but they'd be rather wobbly, so I actually think they look quite good in a pile, or you could spread them out and sort of put them next to other iconic builds, like maybe you flank your Temple of Time, which qualifies for this gift for purchase, as we talked about before. But yeah, they're all Not quite one-to-one recreations. The rupee and the clock and the bomb, I believe, are all perfect. But the key was simplified. The Octorok was shrunken a bit just to make it a little less janky. And I believe the Tektite also had to have some reinforcing pixels on the legs because, yeah, Lego brick don't work like that, is generally the assumption was made. But here they are. They still look equally recognizable, even though that they've been slightly squished and reinforced. I like them a lot. I think they work out really, really well. Now, we've obviously talked at length about the integration, but here's just, again, some of those examples. So here we have our Octorok, and of course, when he sees the Octorok, he is going to stab it because he's recognized color red, which means he knows to automatically do it. Or as I said, maybe you just manually press the stab button yourself. You've got all those different options. So sword comes out. And then here's that idea I talked about with the bomb, where Link walks up to the bomb, he detects the color blue, and then puts his motors into reverse when he sees that blue object, knowing that it's dangerous, and then maybe it plays a sound effect. So really you're playing with sound effects, motion, and color sensors to get a variety of different effects here. But I think it's the sword that it gets me, because he is just like a maniacal Roomba that's going to be running around your house in a sense and just stabbing at things and doing 360 spins and stuff, which I think is fun. But yeah, this is the RC8-bit Link. Here he is in his drawn form because yes, technically this is a character, I did have to draw it, and here he is just compared to his in-game model. This drawing, I've used brown. I don't know why I did that. That should be dark orange. Whoops. And you could make an argument for bright green, but bright green does just not come up in enough colors, and the sprite seems to change in different artworks. So that is that. And also you'll notice he doesn't have a shield. Yep, pretty self-explanatory. One, is extra parts and it would get in the way. Two, yeah, no, they're not doing that, are they? There's no way they're putting that shield on an accurate voxel model. Plus, I just think this looks better. And yeah, these two are designed mostly to go together. But Z068 is also just a promo in general. And as I said, you would qualify for it on purchases over 100 or 120 maybe dollars. So Z057 Gerudo Fortress Infiltration would qualify. Temple of Time, Z067 I believe would also qualify. And any number of combination of smaller sets, whether that be a Fight for Zora River, which you haven't seen yet, which is like a 30 to 40 pound set, mixed with Freeing Nadra, or maybe you just buy the whole wave and you would get the 8-bit items, which I think is nice because it does work with these other sets and it is like a iconic thing from Zelda 1 that people want, but it's not hugely desirable and you can make them out of common pieces, which make them perfect for a promo. And obviously the other reason they work is because they have the integration with sort of the flagship of the wave, which of course is Z065. You may have thought that it was the Temple of Time that was sort of like our key little baby for this wave that was like the main set, but no, this wave is built around the digital integration of RC Link, which only 2 sets use and none of the others benefit from. Although I'll notice there are some targets in Gerudo Fortress Infiltration. That would be terrifying to have him floating around and stabbing at targets like the crazy little robot he is, I guess. And here is our progress sheet. So this is something new we're going to do for the custom sets until we hit 100 later this year in 2025. All 100 are done, and here you can see the gaps. If you notice in about 6 rows down, you'll notice that Z065 and Z068 have now been added, filling in a nice gap between the Tears of the Kingdom wave and the Temple of Time in wave 4. And that just leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sets until we reach our 100 goal. And yeah, you will see them all in due course. They're all finished, which is why I can show you this. So this is like your teaser board to see until we complete the 100. And I hope you will join that for that journey, because once you've done 100, well, we're over halfway, but we still got waves 5, 6, and 7, and 9 to do. So, well, we'll get there eventually. We'll get there. But I hope you enjoyed this completely wacky and random set. Let's talk quickly about what's coming next time. It's actually a remaster. We're going straight back to Wave 1, and this will be launching on Valentine's Day. And then following that, there is also another custom set in the works for very, very shortly afterwards. Some of you, if you've been on the streams, may know what this one is, but we're going back to a new game for this one, and that will fill in another 2 sets at once. And I hope you will be there. I hope you enjoyed this one, and let me know your thoughts on the concept of RC Link, which is definitely a concept I think has potential and that my build sucks for. But let me know down below, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.